Am I the butthole? Norel2 says, am I the butthole for saying that I don't want kids in front of my brother and sister-in-law who just had a baby? My F17 brother M31 and Sil F31 just had a baby boy almost a week ago. They struggled to have children for a while and ended up doing IVF to conceive. After they got home from the hospital, I went with the rest of my family to my brother and Sil's house to see the baby. When I was holding him, my mom said something like, "You're gonna be such a good mom. I can't wait for you to have kids." And I just laughed and said that I'm not going to have kids. When we left their house, my mom said that it was rude for me to say I wasn't going to have kids after my brother and Sil went through so much trouble to have their baby. But I've told my mom multiple times that I don't want kids, so she shouldn't have brought it up at all if she thought it would offend them. I think the only reason she made the comment about me being a good mom is because she always tries to convince me to have kids. She tells me that I'm probably going to change my mind about it, that I'm never going to find a husband because most men want kids, and just straight up says you have to have kids. My brother and Sil didn't even seem offended by my comment. I think my mom was just getting offended for them. And I don't think it's a bad thing to not want children and to tell people that. Angie Home 2023 says, NTA. You didn't say you hated kids or babies are smelly, or people who have kids are terrible to the environment, or really one of any dozen of things you could say that would be offensive. You just don't want kids. Fine. Your mom is offended because she wants you to have kids and you don't want to have them. Well, she doesn't get control of that decision. So that sucks for her, I guess. Norel2 says, exactly, it's not like I said anything bad about kids. I love kids and I love my nephew, but sleepless nights and lack of freedom doesn't sound fun. Dizzy Avocado 7026 says, I'm in the position of your brother. I'm 28 female and pregnant with my first, and my little sister 17 female has always maintained she doesn't want kids. I've noticed my parents ramping up the "you'll change your mind" comments to her since we announced, and she stayed strong saying she doesn't want them in front of us. Let me tell you, the only people I consider ahish are my parents. I tell them to leave the poor girl alone. NTA op. Hold acceptable 293 says, NTA, the only way I'm currently 7 months pregnant and struggled to get pregnant. For context, I can see this being offensive is if you completely out of nowhere on meeting a baby went on a long tirade about hating kids and never wanting one and how people who have them are stupid, etc. Your mum brought it up. You quite politely replied with an honest answer that gives no general judgment about your family members deciding to have children. I genuinely see no issue. Not everyone is required to want kids just because other people want them and sometimes struggle to have them. Infinigan says, NTA, she wasn't offended for them. She was using them as an excuse to get mad at you for calling out her BS. You are absolutely right. If it's such a touchy topic for them, why on earth would she bring it up in front of them knowing you don't want to have kids? Also, I know tons of people of all genders who don't want children. Your mom is sorely misinformed about, for lack of a better word, breeding norms in humankind now. Am I the butthole? Strenkle says, am I the butthole for refusing a gift that requires me to drive 3.5 hours to get? My 28 father, 65, is a very my way or the highway type person. He always means well, but sometimes it can come off as harsh. So anyway, my son, 1, just had a birthday, and one item on our wish list was a bike trailer that hooks onto the back of a bike and he can sit in it while I ride. Think Beethoven back from the Street Bernard movies. Now, my dad, rather than buying a new one, he went onto Facebook Marketplace and found a very nice quality one that can hold up to 125 pounds. since I also have an old dog that I would love to take on rides as well. This is also his way of trying to get me to exercise, since I obviously put on baby weight and he doesn't want to come right out and call me fat. I gained 25 pounds from having my son, so it's not like I completely let myself go. The only downside is it would require a 3.5-hour trip to collect, and I would have to take my son with me, so it really doesn't sound appealing. I asked if possibly the gentleman could meet me halfway, and my father called me selfish and ungrateful. So I just returned the money my dad had sent me and told him it's not a gift I need immediately and would rather wait until one closer presents itself. Now, my sister said that I'm not in the wrong since that's a whole afternoon adventure with a baby and it's a lot of work, but the other set of grandparents said it's a minor inconvenience for a nice gift. So, am I the asshole? Edit. Yes, I asked for this gift originally, but it wasn't high on my priority list. As soon as my dad saw that I had it on my list, he started making subtle comments about this will force you to go outside and sweat, nice excuse for an easy family workout, etc. So that's how I know he only got this particular gift because he wants me to lose weight. Second edit. I would not be traveling to my dad. He lives across the country. Okidoki 234 says, if the other grandparents think it's a minor inconvenience, ask them to pick it up. Strenkle says, they don't live in our state. Swungover 264 says, so they should understand what a huge ask this is and therefore don't get to make the judgment on whether it's a minor inconvenience or not. Sorry that your dad sucks, BTW. Theana Jeko says, wait, I don't have to buy people gifts anymore? I can just respond to ads on Facebook and tell people to go pick it up themselves. Can I just tell people what store sells the thing they want and tell them to go buy it themselves too? Wow, this changes everything, NTA. Shazkakra says, even better, you can find free stuff on FB and send them the link. They'll need to be quick about it though, otherwise they won't get their present. Live_poet_2952 says, I prefer just gifting my relatives a lead. I saw something you might have liked on Facebook the other day. Message the guy that you might be interested. You'll just have to reach out to him. I didn't save the post, so just look for the baby carriage in Northeast Philadelphia. I'm sure you'll find it. Consistent_ad_805 says, NTA. He wants to give you this gift, then he should pick it up and give it to you. If he is giving you money, then you are free to buy gift yourself whatever you want. Environment says, all I can think of reading this is how family members have to push each other's buttons just right. Pinkful0 Princess says, a couple years ago my dad wanted to buy something useful for me for Christmas, so my mom found a washing machine online, and then me and my dad went and picked it up. He paid $180 and said I was going to have to pay him $60 back. When I cut him off, because he's been abusive and shitty for decades, even if he doesn't hit me anymore, this washing machine was mentioned. It's like, oh yeah, you're right, Aunt Sharon/mom, my dad loves me so much cause he spent $120 on me for Christmas and picked the gift up. That's like, top-notch stuff. Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest. r/am I the butthole? Interesting Vast 797 says, am I the butthole for letting someone drink my friend's beer and refusing to pay them back? I 28 male had a friend 29 male, Brian, over almost 3 months ago where he brought a 12-pack of Coors and only drank half of it. When he left the remaining beers in my fridge despite me reminding him to grab them. Since then he came over twice for little things, and I told him to grab the beers he left, but he didn't. Come Saturday I had a couple people over, and they asked if they could have the Coors, which I considered abandoned at this point, so say sure. they drank all of the remaining beers that night. Last night Brian came over for a minute and asked to grab his beers, and I told him they were gone. He got angry that I gave his beers away and demanded I pay for the remaining beers. I refused because I felt he had plenty of time to take or drink them and that he abandoned them at my place. Am I the butthole? Magoo69x says, NTA, you leave your booze at someone's house and it belongs to them now. That's the rule. Everyone knows that. Eroagleek says, no kidding, I have a drawer in my fridge for left drinks that I will not drink. Those are the first I offer to anyone. Jbooth72 says, Coles automatically goes in that drawer. Stonewall Brigade 21 says, Brian wouldn't listen. Your fridge is not his storage space to leave his beer as long as he pleases. You don't owe Brian anything. NTA. Plus, him whining over you paying him for 6 beers is ridiculous. Subman says, perhaps Brian needed to pay some rent on his beers to keep them there. If you leave food or beer at my home, and we don't have a very specific arrangement, it's mine now. And if I had Coles around and someone asked to drink it, I'd say take it all, NTA. My author Carissa Hippo says, I always looked at it as a thank you for having me over. Once they are in your fridge, they belong to you. Least_ear_7171 says, NTA. It's weird for him to be so demanding for money after he left them there and it's just beer. If I leave alcohol at any place I'm just like whatever, they can have it. He might be broke and this is his way of trying to get money. Interesting Vast 797 says, he does make okay money but also blows it all on stupid shit, so he may be a little hard up, IDK. It is a pattern for him. Suspicious but 1710 says, I was thinking he had them stashed as his rainy day beer. He felt like it was there for when he got low on funds. But, NTA, because if you leave anything consumable, like beer, booze, food, you should expect it to be consumed. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.